Here's how you can create a dynamic drop-down list. The situation that we have here is we have some makes of cars, a Honda and Toyota. We're only using 2 for this example. We want to create a drop-down for this cell that gives the model names of each respective make. So we want this drop-down to change based on what is in this cell. There are plenty of ways to do this, but let's look at one involving named ranges. We have over here a Models tab where we've got listed all the models for each make. So in this column we have our Honda models, and in this column we have our Toyota models. You could have other models as well in different columns, but the key to this is that each column contains a list of models for each make. So what we're going to do is we're going to select all the models in this Honda column, and we're going to name these cells a name. There's a few ways to do this, but the easiest thing to do is come into this name box right here and just type Honda and press enter. Now these cells, whenever you select them, instead of giving the cell ranges, it's named Honda. And then do the same thing for this these Toyota names as well. These names have to correspond with the make cell right here. This example, it's fairly simple, Honda and Toyota, and we've named these Honda and Toyota. Coming back to this lookup tab, we'll select the model cell right here and add a drop-down list. To do that, we'll come here to data and go into this box for data validation. And in the allow section, we'll select list. Now typically you could just select some cells here and that would populate your drop-down list. Because we want this to be a dynamic list, rather than typing in specific cells, we're going to use the indirect function to help us out. The indirect function returns a reference specified by a text string. So we'll type indirect, and in parentheses, what we'll do is we'll select that make cell. And you can close the parentheses. So what this is doing is it's saying for the source, it's going to return the named range of whatever is in cell B1, in this case, Honda. This is why the named cell ranges have to correspond exactly to whatever is in that make cell. Click OK, and now this has a drop-down that shows all your Honda models right now. But if you come in here and change this to Toyota, it's now going to show you all the Toyota models. Obviously, this is a simplified example, but you can use it to apply to other situations as well. The key being, you're naming your range something, and then using the indirect function to populate your drop-down list. Like I said, there are several ways that you can do this. You can actually include other formulas in your source. So one other thing that you could do here is you could type an if statement. So if B1 equals Honda, then use this source right here. And then if not, you could use this source right here. And you can see because we named those ranges, it's just putting the name right there. And this, in essence, does the same thing. The benefit to using named ranges, though, is it's a little easier to scale. So if you had 10 of these that you were trying to input, you could then just use the direct formula once and you would be fine. One other limitation here is you can't have spaces in named cells. So if we wanted to name these cells something like General Motors, it's going to come up with this error that says it wasn't a valid reference because you included a space. So you could do something like General_Motors, like that. But just keep in mind that this cell would also have to have the underscore as well.